Hello everyone, it's me Arden Lee. I am back with another video, and in today's video I want to talk a little bit about shadow work. Specifically, the question I want to ask is, are you so invested in your identity as a good person that you are afraid of accountability? I'm going to say that again. Are you so invested in the idea of yourself as a good person that you're afraid of accountability? I spoke recently about organizations that sometimes have this problem, but it is an issue with individuals as well. And I've seen it tear apart relationships. I've seen it wreak havoc among community dynamics, and everything from the micro to the macro. And so I want to talk a little bit about that today, and about how we can learn from that and have a situation where when our blind spots are called, where when our blind spots are called out to us, that we can take an attitude of learning and growth and improvement rather than defensiveness and denial and digging our heels in, which only makes us look worse. Why do we do this? All right, so before I start getting into that topic, if you're not already familiar with me and my work, my name is Arden Lee. I am the creator of the Repatterning Project, which is an 8-week course that we do online, of webinars and group calls. And what I teach in those 8 weeks is I teach you the comprehensive view of your human operating system, how your patterns form, how your beliefs form, how all of the experiences that you've lived throughout your life have come together and intersected to make you the person that you are today, with those beliefs and habits and mindsets that have been programmed and imprinted into you throughout your experiences. Once you recognize how that works and how it happens, you can start to backwards engineer the result that you want for yourself, so that you can have those beliefs and mindsets that are going to actually bring you closer to your goals. That is creative freedom, that is operating from a place of sovereignty. So that is what we teach. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about that, you can go to the description box. I have linked to a free PDF guide about the Repatterning Project. I also have a link to my free Facebook group, the Repatterning Parlor. We would love to see you in there. If you want to learn more about the course, connect with some folks who have already done it, some folks who are thinking about it, and have a fun place to discuss your goals and what you are looking to change for yourself. Then come join us, say hi. We would love to see you. All right, so I'm talking today about shadow. I'm talking about the parts of ourselves that are unconscious, that we are repressing because we don't want to look at them. I'm talking about those spots of self-awareness that are painful, those spots of self-awareness that cause cognitive dissonance from the way that we think of ourselves. And that cognitive dissonance causes us to act in some counterproductive ways. So here is something that can happen. For example, I once heard a story of a young woman who had a boyfriend who was really, in his own intentions, really dead set on being the good guy, really wanted to show up with kindness, wanted to love her, wanted to appreciate her. The problem is that he was so invested in that when she would say, hey, you did something that hurt me, he would just go, sorry, and oh, sorry. Didn't want to take it in, just like, oh, I can't. He would apologize, but the apology was so, in her words, in her experience, his apology was like so dismissive that it didn't feel like he had really heard her and understood and was willing to make changes for the future. He was just like, sorry, and didn't even, in her estimation, really understand what she was talking about in the first place. So she didn't feel heard. She didn't feel listened to. And this, of course, created more and more problems, because this starts a feedback loop. It starts a vicious cycle, right? I haven't listened to you when you're talking about what hurt you're feeling, which feels even more hurtful. And then, I make the same mistake again, which makes you feel even less heard. And it was really, when she really sat with it, she felt that it was really that he really wanted so badly to be the good guy that he was unable to confront any of the places that might not have matched that identity. I've seen this in spiritual teachers as well. I have seen spiritual teachers who will say all kinds of really problematic things that in the year of our Lord 2019 we should really be more aware of now. And when people try to educate them toward what it really means to, grounded in reality, be in unity, be all at oneness, everyone wants to be at oneness till it's time to be at oneness, which means dismantling patriarchy, dismantling privilege, all of these, understanding privilege and starting to dismantle the systems that uphold those that lack of equality, right? And so they get educated. Someone will say, hey, this isn't cool, this is, you're saying this from a place of ignorance of the way that your words might, touch on and affect these issues, No, calling you a white man is not a slur, it is not an attempt to silence you. If you are a white man, that's just, what is it, Hannah Gadsby's joke in Nanette, men like, oh no, we're human neutral. White man, no, I'm not a white man, I'm human neutral, right? So all of that, when they get called out for those, for making those kinds of mistakes that are hurtful to people and that really hinder our progress toward actual true equality, their reaction is to dig their heels in, and they're like, no, you're wrong, and I'm right, and you're not being love and light right now. You are being negative, Missy, right? Where's your love and light? There's no love and light in criticizing a guru or whatever, Yeah, it's shadow, you guys. People are so invested in their identity as the good person that they're unwilling to even admit to themselves that they might make mistakes sometimes. So this happens with organizations as well. I made a separate video that's a little bit more about that specific phenomenon, but I have seen organizations who want so badly to align with their intentions of creating positive transformational healing space and results, that anytime that harm is actually done in their container that they, I'm sure, haven't intended but have allowed in some way to slip through the cracks and happen, they immediately go on the defensive and they're like, no, you're just triggered. You just didn't trust the process. You didn't surrender to the work. It's not us. And it's, how dare you speak up about your experience when clearly you don't know what you're talking about. And then you come on and you're like, hi guys, that's gaslighting. And they're like, no, it's not. It just gets worse and worse and worse. And it just always surprises me, you guys. The lack of self-awareness really surprises me. Because if what you want to do is to be a good person, that's wonderful. But that creating that intention from a realistic and grounded place means acknowledging that you're going to make mistakes along the way and dealing with those like a mature adult and being grateful for opportunities to be better. I'm not perfect, you guys. I've gotten called out on shit before. And it hasn't been easy, and there have been times in the past that I've gotten defensive. But I've sat with it and thought, okay, how could I try and see this from the other person's perspective? Is there something here that I'm like, at the very least, how did this happen, right? Where did I mess up that at the very least it's being perceived this way? Okay, all right, I said X, Y, Z, and even though I meant it this way, yeah, I see how it could have been construed the other way, and yeah, okay, I could choose my language better next time. Maybe it's that, right? Or hey, wow, that's a belief that I picked up that actually doesn't serve the future anymore. Where did I get that from, Gosh, you guys, I had so much internalized patriarchy. I was a pickup artist, you guys. I had so much internalized patriarchy. My first formative long-term relationship with someone was with someone who was ex-military and carried a ton of misogyny that had been programmed into him throughout some of the environments that he'd been in, and who therefore, imprinted it upon me because I would take on his beliefs because he was older than me and I thought that he knew better than I did. And it was a means of self-protection too, right? If I tear down other women with you, then you'll think I'm cool, or like I'm not like the other girls, or blah blah blah, whatever, right? So I have had plenty to unpack in myself, and maybe that's been a blessing in disguise because I'm used to unpacking my shit, I know that when I learn a lesson, that I come out better for it on the other side. And once I saw the way that that algorithm worked, even though it's not fun, you guys, I know it's not fun to get called out, and we can all ask for and intend for healthier discussions and accountability that's also kind of like, calling in rather than calling out, which is a great way of phrasing it. People saying, hey, you have something between your teeth, just FYI. That's great. Like, yes, absolutely. I would really hope that, that given the work that I do, and that hopefully people know where my heart is coming from, and that if I make a mistake, like, at least give me the benefit of the doubt, I hope, right? But definitely tell me, because I want to know. And I've made a lot of statements about that publicly, right? Like, hey, if I'm doing something and we have a personal relationship and there's, something I'm doing that is putting you off, then tell me, if we have that personal relationship, if it's something I'm doing that's affecting you, yes, let me know. If we don't have a personal relationship and it's not affecting you, if it's just me expressing myself in a way that doesn't actually, then no, then that's yours. You're welcome. But no, I've said that many times. If harm is happening because of the way that I'm holding space with another person for whatever I'm doing or not doing, yeah, I want to know about that. So it just amazes me, because we're all supposed to be on this path, right? We're all supposed to be here on this path toward personal growth, self-improvement, all of that good stuff. And it just surprises me that this algorithm, this particular equation of, hey, here's an opportunity to see a blind spot and you get to be better. It surprises me that that's not as obvious to people as it is to me. And to be fair, I'm constantly checking myself, and maybe that's sort of the light side of the dark side of my, the other side being perfectionism and anxiety and an overly an over preoccupation with people's perceptions of me, right? That's definitely that's the shadow side. But maybe the light side to that is the fact that I really check myself as much as possible. And I will ask people close to me whose opinions I respect all the time. I'll be like, hey, you guys, is this cool? Is this what give me your take on this situation? Like, what's going on? What am I on the wrong here? Am I being an asshole in this situation? I do that a lot. And I get the opinions of people I trust. I'm not saying that nothing will ever slip through the cracks, but I'm really interested in knowing my shadow. I'm really interested in knowing my wholeness. I'm really not interested. It just feels really tired. Feels really tiring to this idea of having to put up a front and deny everything that doesn't go with that. It feels like that would be exhausting. Yeah, it is exhausting actually, because I did that for a long time. I have experience in that regard. So anyway, I just really encourage everyone to look at that self-knowledge, that self-awareness as always being a good thing. And, I made a video several months back that was something like, I love being right so much that I'm willing to be wrong. Because as soon as I know that I'm wrong, then I'm right again. And that video was exactly what I just said it was. That's pretty much the entire video. But yeah, I love being right so much that I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to look at it when I'm wrong. I want to be in my integrity so much that I'm willing to look at it when I'm out of my integrity. I would like for people to lovingly inform me if there's, something I'm not doing that is causing, that's not my best or whatever. And definitely if it's affecting other people, yeah, I'd want to know that. So I hope that you feel the same way. And I hope also that that you'll also be able to start recognizing those in the world who really have a hard time confronting their shadow, and to not take it personally when they throw you under the bus in order to protect themselves. When they call you a liar, or say you're making things up, or you're just still triggered and so you can't think straight, or that, whatever it is, whatever ways they're trying to silence you or shame you because you're threatening their egoic self, their idea of who they are. I just invite you to not take it personally, and to continue to speak up and state your own truth from a place of ruthless compassion, yes, kindness, but uncompromising, unflinching dedication to your own integrity and authenticity, and knowing that that expression is actually the ultimate place of compassion to come from. Yeah. I encourage you I encourage you to do that. Thank you guys for listening. I'll see you next time.